to Shady Talk Wednesday. Thank you for that applause. Wow, Marv is always so welcoming.
All right.
Welcome to Shady Talk Wednesday. I am your girl, Miss Shade. I'm still fixing myself up. I am your girl, Miss Shade, and I am today on this ugly, rainy Wednesday that it happened to try to rain in the afternoon. I
Like
know, but
2
we
minutes
still
ago.
made it here. I wanted to make sure I made it here because I have a special guest here with me today, and she goes by the name of Delwana Miller. Yes. Hi, Del.
Hey T, how are you, sugar?
I am okay, sugar. I am so excited for you to be here. I said, you know what? I have to get Dell on this podcast because Dell has been doing such amazing things. And under the situation of doing the amazing things that you have been doing and putting out in your community, um, and we're gonna talk about that. But before we get into this, I just want to give you a little background about um, and we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to give you a little background about Dell. Dell is from Paterson, New Jersey. She's a mother of three beautiful children, two boys and one girl, and a grandmother of six.
Yeah, girl.
She's a member of the Grace Chapel Baptist Church, where Gregory L. Wilson is the pastor. In 2014, she lost her oldest son, Jalik, to gun violence. Shortly after his death, she became severely depressed. And at the end of 2015, she decided to make the situation better for the greater good. After much prayer and with the help of her family and friends, the village of Patterson was created. The Village of Patterson is a community organization that goes out to occupy city blocks and informing students and adults about the effect of gun violence. We have also gone to schools and colleges with the same message. Out of the village, Patterson, a support group called I Am My Sister was created. Her motto is as a parent and an activist is I can remove one gun from the street.
I've
If I
already.
can remove one gun from the street, I've already saved two lives, the shooter and the person at the other end of the gun. Wow, let me say that again. If I can remove one gun from the streets, I've already saved two lives, the shooter and the person at the end of the gun. That's deep. That's deep. Well, welcome here. I told Dale, I said I feel so odd with my pink because Dale is such a green girl. She is such a green girl. I love how she always represent green.
Yes, green was Jalik's. I'm gonna call him Juice throughout this episode because most people know him as Juice. So green was Juice's favorite color.
Okay.
My favorite colors were like earth tones. I rep earth tones for a very long time. So green being his favorite color is how I honor him, and I wear green most of the time. So
Okay.
most of the time, that's my little small, besides other ways of always keeping him alive and honoring him by wearing green.
Okay. And okay, so we're here to talk about your organization called I Am My Sister, a mother's testimony, and not up in here. And Delwana, once again, like I just explained at the beginning of the podcast, is an amazing mom, someone who lost her son to gun violence. And ever since she lost her son to gun violence, she's started this organization where to help other moms lift other moms up who have been in the same situation or have experienced some of the same situations, have some of the similar stories. Not only mom, I've even seen you put dads
Dads as well.
involved as well. So tell us a little bit about your organization.
So I'll start by saying that I didn't want to do this. That was not my goal. As most moms know and dads know that this journey isn't easy. Like you read into the bio, I literally that first year from 2014 through mid 2015, I was walking around, and what other people saw as strong had no idea what I was actually dealing with and going through. I went to work. I came home. I laid on the couch. I went to work. I came home. I laid on the couch. 2 weeks after Juice's passing, I used to be a retail store manager. So 2 weeks after his passing, my assistant manager called me and said she didn't have anybody cover the store. So I went to work. And my district manager at the time was like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Do I still have a job?" And she's like, "Yeah, but you just lost your son." And I'm like, "Well, if I know you send me home and I know I go home and he's there, then I'll go home. But he's not going to be there, so why would I stay? Why can't I stay?" So she was like, "I'm not going to force you out the door. I'm going to let you work at your pace. Whenever you need to leave, you leave." And I didn't leave. I went to work every single day. And I worked through the depression that I was going through. Like in the 25 years as being a store manager, that year was my highest grossing year and bonus year, because I worked through my pain. Like, I kept trying to not deal with it and not go, not just try to be bothered with it, pretty much. Like, and then, but when people saw me, I got the, "Oh my God, Del, you so strong. Oh my God, Del, how you doing it? Every time I see you, you got a smile on your face." But I was dying inside. My kids didn't see me cry. My dad didn't see me cry. Nobody saw me cry. I would shed my tears on that couch when nobody could see me. And I would just go back out and do the same thing again every single day. And I did it every day up until about September, which was a year to the date of his passing. I ran into a classmate. Her and I went to elementary school together. And she said to me in September, "Dawan, I don't know what I would do if it was me." And in December, it was her.
So, okay, so I know you got into the situation of what happened after, but take us back a little bit to explain to people what actually happened with your son. I mean, you don't have to go into like
Right.
details, because I know other people are probably involved, or I don't know if it's a court thing or whatever, but just give people a little bit of what happened that day.
So I'll start by saying Juice was the epitome of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Was not a target. He was minding his business and walked out of a store, and a young man was shooting at a car. Car went down a one-way street the wrong way to get away from the bullets, and my son walked across the street and was hit immediately and went down, and to his demise. That was it. Had he stayed in the store one more minute, he possibly could have still been here with us. Had he came out a minute earlier, he could have possibly still been with us. But it's when he walked out of that store. And the crazy part is, like, he lived with me before he passed. And prior to him walking out the door that day, I was fussing at him about the garbage. Typical mom stuff. I come in the house. He loved to shop, hence another reason. Like, people who know me know sneakers are my big thing now. He was a sneakerhead, so he had just got paid, went shopping, and I was a little upset with him because he hadn't paid his rent. I didn't charge him a lot. He hadn't paid his rent. He was 27. He didn't have no kids, and all he had to give me was $50 a pay period, which was nothing really for a 27-year-old at that time. But I walked in the door, and Juice, in the Juice-like fashion, had went shopping and was just doing what he do. So I kind of had like a little attitude, like, no, this boy did not come in here with all these new this, that, and the third, and he ain't getting my money yet. So as he was walking out the door, I was just like, "You leaving?" And he said, "Yes, Mommy." He called me Lady, unless he was in trouble or wanted something. But he was like, "Yes, Mom, I'm leaving." And I was like, "All right." I said, "Take that garbage out." And he was like, "Okay." So, and we didn't leave our house without saying, "I love you," and "See you later." Because it was never goodbye. It was always "see you later." So he walked out the door. He was walking out the door, and he was like, love you, Lady." And I'm like, "Love you." And he was like, "See you later." And I was like, "See you later. Take out the garbage." Literally. The next call I got in reference to him, ironically, was 5/17 that Sunday morning, which is his birthday, May 17th, from his dad. And his dad calls me by my nickname, and he says, and I don't mind saying it because some of my family probably watching, and my nickname is Peanut. So he said, Peanut, he said, where Juicy? And I'm like, I don't know. He left out of here with Tanea, which was his fiance. And he's like, oh, so-and-so called me and said that he got shot and hung up. And I'm like, this fool did not just call me and tell me this. But I know it was, reaction out of emotion and adrenaline. So I kept saying, like, I'm going to get up off this bed. I'm going to go in the living room. He going to be there. And I'm going to call him back and say, nah, that can't be Juicy right here. I feel bad for whoever that mom is. Mm-hmm. And I walked in the living room. He wasn't there. So then my youngest son lived with us, too. And I knocked on his door, not paying attention that when my son opened the door, I was actually knocking on his chest. Because I'm trying to call Juice's dad back to see what the heck is going on. And then we went to the location where it happened in Patterson. And I knew it was him before they even told me it was him. Because the Christmas of 2013, his fiance had bought him a gold watch. And I saw his arm. And it's crazy because I can say that now without it really, doing, not that it doesn't do anything, still brings emotion, but I knew it instantly. But not for nothing, the system sends you on a tailspin. It literally sends you. They had us out there. I got the call at 5:17. I lived in Patterson at the time, so by the time I got there, it might have been about 6. And they had us literally out there with my child on the ground till almost 8 o'clock that next morning.
Oh, wow.
Just like, and it was a remark that I made that made the cops finally get somebody there, because I'm like, okay, I get y'all doing your investigation. They wouldn't tell us it was him, even though I knew it was him. They wouldn't tell us it was him. And I said, I'll know it's him when they pick him up, because I know what he had on when he walked out the door. And the officer heard me say it. So they took 2 cop cars and the van that they was putting Juice in and blocked where we were so we couldn't see them.
Wow.
Like, literally. But I already knew. Like, as a mother, you know. And I found out a lot during that time. I was not aware that Patterson or Passaic County did not have a morgue. Does not, still to this day. If someone is pronounced dead at a scene, they are sent to Essex County, to Norton. I did not know that. I was not aware of that. So they, after sending us to the hospital, to the police station, back and forth, we finally get some information to find out they took him to Norton. Mind you, I left out the house at like 5:30 in the morning. I have no ID. I have nothing. Just me. And when we get there, they tell me I can't identify my child until I go back and get ID. And I was like, y'all out of y'all not so nice mind.
Wow. So that's very deep to just even know that, just coming across a phone call, after the phone call, running out to visually kind of see your son, noticing him by his arms, and then with the cops blocking, over a statement that they heard you say, and then to realize that there's no morgue, and then to just run around, after that, trying to figure out where is he, to identify him, then to get there and they say you still need an ID. It's just like, where is the humanity in
I literally
losing
I had to
someone?
come out of character, because his dad, who was present, his dad was there, and his dad had ID, but could not bring himself to actually do the ID. And I said to the young lady, I said, listen, I live in Patterson. I'm not going all the way back to Patterson to get ID. I wasn't even dressed to get ID for you. I'm not doing it. He has ID. That's his dad. So after she seen I wasn't leaving, she finally said, this is what we'll do. And I can tell this part of the story now without getting emotional, but it does still hit me in the heart. So their procedure, I don't know what it is now, but 11 years ago, their procedure is they put you in this room, whatever family members want to go in the room, And I was told then they used to turn a monitor on, but now, well, then what they did was they took a picture of him, and it was like a photocopy on a piece of paper. And when they took the picture, they came in the room. The girl had the picture on the clipboard, and she said, "I'm gonna turn it over, and then let me know if it's him." And I was like, "Okay." She did. The young lady that came in the room was very compassionate, and I appreciated that about her. She's like, "Let me know when you're ready." And I said, "I'm ready." I said, "Sweetie, that's my baby, my first child. I need to know if it's him." I asked her, was it going to be like something that would bother me? She said, "I can't really tell you yay or nay." And I said, "Okay, but I got to know if it's him." And she turned the paper over, and it was his son. I screamed. And his dad says to me, he goes, "Peanut, is that him?" And I said, "Yeah." Now I'm clutching the clipboard. And I said, "Yeah," like repeatedly. So in the room, it was myself, his dad, his aunt, his fiance, and I want to say a cousin, but I don't remember if she was actually in that particular room. So what the young lady did, because Juice's father did not want to look at the picture, and I can say that he looked like himself. He looked like he was asleep.
Okay.
So it wasn't, even though I know where he was hit, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. He had the same smirk look he always had, which is the pictures I always post on Facebook, on his face, and he looked like he was asleep. And once they let me say that it was him, the lady said, "I can't let you sign because you don't have ID, but I can let his dad sign." So I had to turn the paper back over because they wanted him to sign across the picture, and he couldn't do it. So the lady let us turn the paper back over. I then told him again, "It's him," and he signed because he had ID on.
Okay, so I heard you say after you found out this happened, you immediately went back to work. So let's get into when you started this organization, how you came up with the name I Am My Sister, a mother's testimony. We know Juice is for Not Up in Here. So what made you come up with I Am My Sister and I am my
A mother's
mother's
testimony.
I am a mother's testimony.
So, as you read in the bio, initially when I started doing this work, after the young lady who was my classmate had lost her son. And I kind of went on a Facebook tangent, like literally, like, enough of this is enough. Here we are, another, because it was actually 2 shootings that weekend, and I knew both moms. Why do we gotta keep going through this? You guys don't realize what you're doing. And then I had so many people saying that they wanted to be a part of helping. And out of those, it was probably like 100 something people at Masonic Temple in Patterson. For us to just have a organization with 12 out of that 100 and something. That really was the core part of the Village Patterson. So we initially would just go out in the community, occupy blocks, do cleanups. I didn't want to be like this, me doing what I'm doing now. I didn't want to do. Everybody knew my story. So I wanted to be the face of. This Delwana, she lost her child. They knew the step by step. Until a couple of my brothers from the Nation of Islam and a couple of my other brothers, KC Melvin, Rashawn Dixon, and Quan Hargrove, was just like, they don't want to hear from us. You got to do it. Like, so they kind of forced me out of my comfort zone, and I kept kicking and screaming. So every time we would do these Occupy the Blocks, they were like purposely be like, "This is Delwana," and I'll be in the corner like, "I'm not saying nothing," like literally like that. I'm not saying, and they would be like, "Here she go," and throw the mic in my face.
So basically, the males kind of set the tone, like to go through the community when people or parents or someone have lost someone to gun violence, and kind of had you.
So it was a mixture of us, though. It was a mixture of us in the village. It was kind of like maybe half and half.
Yeah.
Or not even. We probably were outnumbered because it was myself, my sister Machunga Blackman, Lisa Chowdhury, who is now my director, Jackie Gill, and our lovely sister Chanel Howe. So we were the women at the time, and we were outnumbered by the men, but we were the women that they couldn't keep in a box. Because once I did get that voice, and it would be like, oh, we're not going to take the ladies today. Yes, y'all are.
Because I remember at one point in time there were a lot of gun violence and a lot of moms losing their child to the streets and gun violence, and
And
it
it's
was
everybody. It's everybody. It's not just young men, it's young women. Within that summer of my son's passing, I don't know if you guys remember Genesis Raccoon was 2 weeks before Juice, and then Nazira Bugs was 2 weeks after Juice. So that whole summer, 2015, it was I don't know how many, and then it just kept going. 2016. So then fast forward to 2016 is how I and my sister came about. Because we're doing these community events, but we're not really reaching moms. And I'm constantly getting phone calls. Every time another mom is experiencing this, I'm getting the phone calls. Hey, Dell, here go a mom. Or when we're out in the community, people are introducing me to moms. Moms are coming up to me. I lost my son. I've met so many moms who lost children prior to Juice. So... And when I and my sister came about, we just wanted to do just like something to give moms a safe space to honor their kids. And again, like I said, I didn't want to talk. And one day, all the meetings used to be at my house. So I literally came up with the name, I and my sister, watching something on TV. And I was like, okay, I am my sister. I am she and she is me. I am a mother who's lost a child to gun violence. And that year we were trying to find a speaker to speak at our very first brunch. And I'm calling like everybody I know. I know people from the community. I know pastors. I know other people. And it's still a standing joke today. I feel like my women villagers had their own personal meeting before they got to me. And everybody walks in the door and was like, oh, we found the speaker to speak for the first brunch. So I'm sitting at the table like, who? And in unison, they went, you. And Chanel House said, Dell, these moms ain't going to want to hear from nobody else. They are not going to want to listen to nobody else, especially being the first time.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to hear from somebody. And I kept saying, y'all know I don't want it. Like, I can't say, my name is Delwanda Miller. I lost my son without crying.
Right.
And they was like, you got to do it. Yeah. They're not going to listen to nobody else. And so that's that very first brunch, we had 12 moms. And I was our first speaker. And I pretty much just shared my story of how I was still, at that point, it had been 2 years, just trying to navigate life as a mother who lost a child.
And the reason why I wanted you to come here, too, because I do feel like Patterson is very known of knowing who you are and, the organization that you put together. But I do feel like there is so many other people in the world that has faced and, came through these challenges and, have these experience with losing a child, period, to some kind of gun violence. Even, I know someone who's very, 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 very close to me who has lost a sibling to, gun violence. And I just, commend you for opening that door for moms to be able to know that there is someone like you, unfortunately, who have experienced such tragedy as a mom. And, thank God you are where you at to this day. And to me, from seeing you from, doing your events and having the moms get together, each time I seen you, it just seems like to me with the moms coming together, being that you all have kind of went through the same experience, even the dad, I feel like it helps lift weight off of your shoulder. Not as far as Not as far as, removing your emotions of what you feel for your son, but just having that village. And I feel like you bring such an impact to some of those moms to know that they're not alone, with facing the same situation. And I wanted you to come here because I want moms to know, I want you to continue to do your organization. I know you took a break this year.
Yeah, I took a sabbatical this year.
Shout out to me. I have been Dale host for 2 years of her organization, where I just kind of come in and just, bring a little light, in to the moms. And, it's just, I was just honored to be in the building just amongst other women. It's sad for me to be there because of the situation, but just to know as another woman, as a mom, just to hug them, I know most of them be so emotional, but I just think just having that comfort and just knowing that other people care, because a lot of people probably didn't have that team you had, that village,
and that is so another it's so reason needed. To why and thank you, I'll say, because it's the first year you was like, I'm with it. And then the next year, I think I called you in like January. The event wasn't until October. And you was like, yeah, I'm with it. And one thing I want to say about the brunch is that it's for anybody. Yes, it's for moms and dads to be able to honor and remember their kids in a positive. Like, people literally like refer to, and I'll just use Juice. Oh, Juice got shot on such and such street. That's not him as a person.
Right.
Like, he's more than this. He got shot. Right. And then people automatically assume that the brunch is going to be sad because of what we represent.
Right.
But no, it's to honor those kids in a positive light. You bring the funny, Pastor Sarah Anthony gives us a word. Pastor Janelle prays. Like, it's so many of us.
Yeah.
My sister Rhonda, she's been helping me the past couple of years. Rhonda Roberts, she's been helping me the past couple of years, like whatever I ask of her, whether it is help at the ticket table, read the 5 signs of grief, whatever I ask of her. And the organization that I work for, so many other people, the vendors, everybody. It's just to bring some light to the negativity or the stigma that we've lost our kids to gun violence, and we just want to sit in there and cry.
Right.
That's not what
and
it's
also
for.
Too, I love the way it come upon, because also too, sometimes when you hear gun violence, people think the most negative thing about the person who was in the gun violence. Like, for example, your child was innocent, but sometimes when people feel, oh, it was gun violence, the first thing they start thinking is, oh, it was a street thing, or it was a gang thing, or it was a this and it was a that.
So I have a problem with that, not to cut your teeth, but I have a problem with that, because I've had, after doing this work for a few years, even to this day, when there's a child lost, and I get calls that's like, oh, why you letting so-and-so's mom come to your event? He was this and he was that. Wow. And he was this and but he was in the streets, or he was that. But that was still her child.
Right.
That was her son.
Right.
Or her daughter.
Right.
So no, that still doesn't take away the pain that the mother feels.
Right.
And who says that mother approved or disapproved of what they were doing? She didn't set out for them to lose their life. Even in Juice's case, yes, he was the innocent bystander, but they were shooting at someone else's son.
Right.
Someone else's son. Another mother could have been in my shoes that night. It just happened to have been me.
Right.
So don't think that mother doesn't deserve somebody that she can call or talk to or mentor with or receive counseling from, because her son was involved or her daughter might have been a part of whatever. That's still a mother who lost a child. And that irks me.
Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine.
It literally irks me, because can't nobody call me and say, oh, you can't help T. Her son did da-da-da-da-da. What?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
T's still hurting.
Yeah.
Because her son's not here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that, too, That's why I'm glad you continue to push forward. I know it's tough to try to continue any kind of organization, but it's good that you are here because we do want the moms to hear, or people who have came through these experiences, that it's not about what people think about the reason of the loss.
Right.
The cause is because you have experienced a loss of a child or a loved one. And we as people, and Dell, who is here as a mother's testimony, or I am your sister, or whatever it is, that those things that you trying to just attach to another human being,
Right.
to just let them know that you understand how it feels to have a loss. But it's just your organization happened to be because you lost a child. There should be many organizations where people can come under one umbrella in one event to just feel the love of losing someone, especially now how we as people are taking so many losses and seeing people losing their life, or passing away suddenly. So thank God you have opened this door for parents, because like I said, I've seen dads who showed up at your events
And
too,
that's
which I think
because
is a great thing.
3 years ago, I had a dad stop me in the community. I was at an event, and this dad comes up to me, and him and I have like a standing joke. I always give him a shout out at my event, because he always checks in with me. But like literally came to me and was like, "You ain't helping dads," and I was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "It's I and my sister." He was like, "We hurt too."
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I thought about Juice's dad, right? And I'm like, he hurts too. Our pain might be slightly different depending on the relationship, but that's still a dad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, we got it. And when I saw him, our event was coming up, and I just so happened to have had a relationship with his daughter. So she reached out to me, and I was like, tell him the event is this day. Come.
And I also like at your event how when everybody come together, it's also a thing where people can network. They can meet people. They can also even meet people on the side that they may want to just pray for them or talk to them, or even just sitting around at a table with somebody else and they get to exchange phone numbers, because some people are not that outgoing, outspoken, want to be in front of cameras, want to talk. But I also like that the creativity that is also brought to your event too is that moms can meet other moms. You know what I'm saying? They can conversate with other people and kind of have
Patterson
those
is
conversations.
big and small at the same time. Like most of us know each other and know and of each other and stuff like that. So sometimes you might be sitting at the table with a mom who maybe was not so much, how can I say it? Like, they understand from the same pain, but you probably grew up in the same neighborhood, right? So sometimes sitting at that table, I could be sitting across from you, and I'm like, oh yeah, you live down the hill? Where you live? Who you know, and stuff like that. And then it, like you said, it turns into a whole network of things. Or just sitting at a table, like, I love my seniors, they'll come and support me in a heartbeat. Sitting at a table with a senior, and I have a senior mom who's actually my aunt, who lost her son when we were in our 20s. Like, I don't even think he was 20. So she's been going through this for a long time. So, like, she could be sitting at a table with a mom who just lost her kid yesterday. So she can,
Communicate.
just saying communicate and still be able to talk to them and have the conversation with them on that same level. Or like you said, just sitting at a table with somebody who is just there because they want to be of support to the moms and dads.
Right. And also too, what I do like is that when your event comes together, you get to see who is who. Because even me, we're growing up with some people who I have seen at your events, I didn't even know their kids passed away, or I didn't even know that that was their child. You know, so even when I see stuff like that, it just cringes my heart too, because it's like, these people are my peers. You know, we grew up together, or we partied together, you know, and you hear about so much in Patterson, and because the kids grow up and they get grown and they so big, sometimes you don't know who their moms is, you know, and that's why, you know, sometimes, you know, I get the joy of being that mom when you do see other young people my age who I grew up with, or, you know, party with, and you like, who your mother? You know, and they like such and such, because sometimes you can see features, you know, or if they doing something and you like, who your daddy? Who your mama? And like you said, Patterson is big, but it's small. So, you know, I get the joy of, you know, doing that too, because sometimes, you know, even when I see people, children, just because I know they mom, I'll be like, come here, give me a hug and tell your mother you seen Tawana or something.
One of Juice's things that he used to always say is, I can't do nothing. And he used
Everybody
to be like,
know you.
Everybody know you. They know you. They know Nana. They know my dad. They know his other grandmother, his aunt, my dad, you know. And I wasn't one of those moms. You know, I had my kids young. I had all three of my kids by the time I was 20. So I wasn't that mom who was like, don't say nothing to my kids.
Right.
Anybody had my, like, if you saw Juice in the street and he was out of pocket, knock him down and tell me later. Like, I was that mom. And he knew it. And it's crazy. Like, another thing that helps me is when I get people that come up to me. Like, I lived in the CCP. I grew up in the CCP, right? His dad grew up in the CCP. He was down there for a little bit, you know, until the buildings came down. So, like, I'll get people that'll come to me and be like, oh, I saw Juice, da-da-da-da-da. And I had somebody come to me right after his passing, was like, Dawana, I've known you pretty much your whole life. And I'm like, yes. She's like, and I've known Juice pretty much his whole life. And I'm like, okay. She's like, but I never knew he was your son.
See?
And I'm like, wow, really? She knew his dad.
Right.
But she's like, I never knew he was your son. She's like, but knowing him as the person he was and knowing you, I know why he was the person that he was. And I was like, and I can appreciate that. Because nobody never came to me and told me that, you know, he was doing anything crazy, you know, and stuff like that. I always got, for all three of my kids, like, you know, I always got, they're really good kids. And, you know, as a mom, you'd be like, but I wish they would act that way at home.
But I think that's a beautiful thing, too.
When they show it outside.
I think that's a beautiful thing, too, in our city, in our community, you know, when you do get to know who kid is who, you know, because it's also a good protection thing, too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always believe that it's always good to treat people good, because you want things to not only work out in your favor of God, but you want it to bounce down to your children too. You know,
children,
you
for sure.
You want that. We have Kawanda Holmes. She says she's a very special part of my life.
From last year, T.
She helped me get through my tough times. And now I try to be there for other mothers. I've been there for 13 years. My son has been deceased. Delwana, I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too, Kawana. Kawana was our honoree for 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, she my mom that if she hears stuff before I hear it, she gonna make sure I hear it. She gonna make sure I know about it.
Shout out to Michelle Lucas, my mom Deborah, Janice,
Hey,
Letitia,
oh my God.
Gwen,
Hey,
my
y'all,
sister
hey.
Reggie. Everybody that's up here that's tuning in, like I said, the names somehow they repeat, but yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. So
yeah, definitely. Thank y'all. Love y'all.
So Del, what can we look forward to as far as, so are you gonna keep the organization going?
Yes, so for those, because I've been getting calls. I've been getting calls like crazy. So no, I Am My Sister is not going anywhere, guys. Right. I am definitely gonna be here. Anybody that knows me personally know Del can't get enough of an education. And this was just brought to my attention recently. In 2023, I graduated with a human services degree, an associate's human services degree.
Congratulations. Can we get a round of applause?
This past May, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in social work, and I said I was done. And 2 weeks before graduation, I applied for master's. So the reason why we didn't have the brunch this year and I took a sabbatical is because this master's degree be mastering Miss Dale. But we are back. Next year will be our 10th anniversary. Next year we'll be celebrating 10 years. So next year the goal is we're not having a sneaker brunch. We're going to do it big. So for our 10-year anniversary, we're going to do a meet and greet on that Friday night. That Saturday night, not for a brunch, we're going to have a sneaker gala. So put on your dress, put on your suits, dress up, come out, support, and rock your kids' favorite sneakers or your loved ones' favorite sneakers, whatever you want to do. And those who know me know my faith is a big part of who I am. So that Sunday morning, if you want to join me as I go to worship and honor God and also honor my son, I'll be in church on that Sunday. So that is tentatively the first week of October, as usually, the first week of October. But coming up to prepare for that, it's going to be quite a few fundraisers, so you guys going to have to look out for those. Our very first fundraiser is January the 31st. And anybody that knows me personally knows Miss Dell likes to shop. So in order for me to shop, a lot of times I don't like to go to stores, but I have a lot of connects, just like Miss Shade over here. So I'll be doing our annual vendors event and celebrating my 55th birthday on that day. So that'll be our very first fundraiser, and then we're looking to do some other incredible things to lead up to that event. I still also do sponsor a mom. That sponsorship is going to start again in January this year. We're not going to wait until like right before, because I never want moms or dads to have to pay to attend any of my events. I don't want them to pay, and if I have to pay out of pocket myself, I do.
And that, you know what, another thing that I love that you always express, you always say something, I'm trying to get it correct, but it's something in the words of, when you have your events, I always hear you say something like, I don't want to have another mother. You know, like, and I think that's so, it's something about, like, when you say that, it's like, I don't want to have another mother. You know,
because I and my sister is not an organization that needs new members.
Yeah. And I think that's so beautiful, because it's like, even though you do have this organization out here and what it stands for and what happened, it's not like you want to do it because it's like you're looking for people who have lost a child to gun violence or the street, you know, but unfortunately that's how the organization start. So I like that you still keep it going, because I feel like, you know, these moms are getting their own therapy too at the same time, you know.
So am I.
Yeah, you and you know, and
so
you know, and others,
right.
You know, because it's really about, even though it's that kind of organization, but it's for people who have lost.
Yeah.
You know, people who was, you know, close to them. So I love the fact that you're not looking for new moms. You don't want no street violence. You don't want to hear nobody lost a child or lost somebody, period. But I love the fact that the moms still get to come. And also it helps brings moms who's never been there come for their first time, rather they lost their child or somebody 3 years ago, last year, the year before, where they get to link up, like we talked about, and see other moms who's experienced the same experience and get to network with them. So I love that.
Definitely. Yeah, I always say I and my sister is not an organization that needs new members and or wants new members. Now, if you want to be a part of my team and help me do this work, yes, you could do that. But if you're an actual member of I and my sister, that means you've lost a child via gun violence or any kind of community violence at all. And no, I'm not looking for new members. My goal every year is not to add another mom or dad's name to my list. But like I said in the beginning, when I started this in 2016, there was 12. I now that I know of that have been brought to me or have reached out and called me, I have almost 100 moms. It's about 93 that I've come across in the past 10 years.
Wow, from 12.
So it's still going on. But I don't want come October that list to go to 110. I don't want it, right? But I do also want to be able to communicate not just with my Jersey moms, but any mom who has lost children. You could definitely reach out to me either via Facebook, Instagram, or just inbox me, and I could give you my personal information, because I know that there's days where I recently just had this conversation with somebody, because I believe every great therapist and counselor needs a great therapist and counselor. As I said before, faith is a big part of who I am, but counseling is what I do, and initially is not what I wanted to do, but that's my calling and that's my why. So I got to make sure that I'm good in order to keep being the person that I'm being for these moms and dads. So I do believe in Jesus and therapy. So those two go hand in hand with me and what I do. So, but yeah, I don't want to add another mom. I don't, something else that I say, and actually it's the apparel that I created, Honoring Jews, which is not up in here apparel. So it's not up in here, not on my watch, and not in my community. And all proceeds from that apparel goes towards any and everything for I and my sister.
You have another shout out here, I think is why I know the middle name is Latif Teller.
Oh, Yvonne.
Why I can't pronounce her name. First of all, my glasses. I think it's WAFIYYAH, Wi-Fi.
Oh, I know who that is.
Okay.
Deanna.
Okay, she said, Miss Dell, you have helped me through my rough times and still helping me. I love you so much.
Love you too, Dee.
Shameen Sims said, I am my sister. I love you, Dell.
Yeah, it was another mom. Thank you. I love you
Sherry
guys
said,
too.
may God continue to bless you. Wafaya, I think it is. Is it Wafaya? Latif Teller Pate.
Yeah.
Deanna. Okay, shout out to you. I'm sorry. Oh boy, I'm sorry. I don't got my glasses on.
Yeah. Those are some of my the organization that I work for. We also have a mom's support group called the Sisterhood Squad. So those are my squad members right there.
Adrian B. Smith. I am my sister. Yeah, she's there.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like when the last times I came to your organization, I was just, not happy to see the moms in that place, but just happy to see them, to hug them, to just, I just love how the organization you just put together, because I know it brings healing to, one another. And as much as us women, just period, how we face things out here in the world alone. So to know in that situation that they're not alone, and just to be able to, like I said, meet and mingle and just, hear other mothers' stories where it can be uplifting to them, right. just to hold on, and how I love how you have the pictures, the moms, they bring their pictures up and
kids. Yep.
To represent, their children. I love how you have the balloons at the end that everybody gets to put their balloons up and, let them loose up to the sky. So, Dell, I really commend you.
Thank
you. I'm so sorry that you had to go through this, but I do feel like God brought you to go through this to help others as well. Yeah, I feel like God also, he sent another light to you. I love the fact how you always represent juice, like you said, the color green. And the green is always so pretty. Well, I always think you just very fashionable anyway, since I've met you. So I
Thank you.
just always thought that you was just, just that girl, how you just keep
Oh,
yourself, you dress. But the green, it definitely represents you. So even with that being your son's
Yes.
color, I think that color looks very amazing on you. So that's
thank
another
you.
thing too that I love that you do, because that help other moms too to, if it was something about their child that they want to represent,
Right.
it just give them an idea. So
Yeah.
you definitely rock that green. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
know.
oh my God, I'm gonna be so thrown off today with this pink. I was like, Dale just missed it because my last show I wore green. I said I ain't had nothing else green to give Dale today. I was like, but I'm gonna
That's
put my
all right.
little pink on. But I want to thank you so much, Dale, for coming
Thank
out here and
you.
coming and talking about your organization. I felt like this interview was so needed. I was like, I got to get Dell up here, the end of the year, because before the end of the year, and I know you didn't do your organization this year, and I know you wanted to talk about it and let people know you coming back with it next year, bigger and better. And because you started school, what you do need to take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
So you deserve that time out. Give her a round of applause. She deserved that time off.
Yeah. This master's degree is mastering. I actually
Yes.
have my last class for the semester is tomorrow. So, and then I get a break, and I can't wait to break. But like I said, it just reminds me of my why. My initial when I initially went back to school, when Juice and his siblings were teenagers, and I wanted to be a party planner. I wanted to do hotel management in the big hotels. And then after his passing, when I went to re-register for school, God said to me, "Nope,
You got something else for you to do.
you already told me that you would give me your everything, so this is what I need you to do." And every time I say I'm finished, he like, "Nope." So I'll say this too. During that time that I was going through what I was going through, I'll say this all the times to moms and dads. Those who are faith believe, like people say, don't question God. I don't believe we question God's ability, because we know what he's capable of, right? But I do believe you ask God the questions you need answers to. And my question to God was, why? And his response was, I needed him to get to you. And I said, but God, I go to church. And he said it again. I needed him to get to you. So whenever I have those days, holidays are not grand for me. If I could erase them off the calendar, I would. But I remember my why. I remember when I get phone calls from moms that just be like, Miss Dow, just needed somebody to talk to. And I love the fact that they respect when I can't answer right away, because I may be having a bad day myself. My squad is good for that. Like, we can all get together in our group chat. And if somebody's facing an anniversary or going through trial or any of those things, or just, not having a good day, we could get there and uplift one another. And I'm honest with them. Some days Miss Dell is just not there herself. Like I said, Thanksgiving just passed. I not only lost Juice, I lost my mom prior to Juice. So, that was her holiday. Christmas is coming up. My kids and I have this standing joke about Juice always wanted $500. Where he was getting it from, I don't know. So, I remember, right after Thanksgiving, he would be like, "Ma, got $500? Christmas and his birthday." And I'll be like, "Boy, your mother sells shoes. Where I'm getting $500 from?" So we kind of joke around with each other in our group chat and be like, know what I want for Christmas? I want $500.
That's cute.
So, it's those things. But when moms tell me that I've helped them through things, and they honor and respect the fact that I'll still be having my days too, it helps me to understand my why. So that's why I keep pushing forth through getting these grades, and hopefully and prayerfully in April I'll be taking my licensing exam, and I will be your licensed social work and be able to practice counseling. So that's the goal.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you're going to do it. You're going to make it. God needs you in that field too. That's why he already giving you some of that counseling
Man.
thing you got. But shout out to my co-host Simone. She's not here tonight.
Shout out Simone.
Yeah, she's home tonight. She's getting ready for her big 50th.
All right.
next year. So I told her she could take the day off. I'll go ahead and handle Dale because I've been promising you that I wanted you to come on the
Thank you
podcast.
so much.
And
I appreciate it.
you're so welcome. You know, as I always tell my ladies, because I'm always forever for girl power. You know, my outlet or any platform I have, you ladies are always welcome to come and you know tell people what you do, let people know what you're doing. Because I appreciate you ladies too. I enjoy seeing other women doing the thing, no matter
And we
what it
appreciate.
is.
I can probably speak for a lot of women that know you. We appreciate you too, T.
I know y'all do.
You have been the shady sweetie sugar to me for a very long time. Like I spoke about Chanel, and I remember like the first time I seen one of your shows. I still have that video that I post every time I'm thinking about her. But you are the epitome of what supporting sisters is to me.
Thank you.
And I know I can speak for probably a whole lot of other women that's either come across this platform or just come across you.
Yes.
You are who you are and continue to be who you are.
Thank
sis.
you. Thank you. And that's definitely, what I pray to continue to represent because that's definitely me. I'm so for girl power. I love to see women doing the thing. I love to try to encourage women to do the things that they do. I just love it. I just enjoy it. I enjoy all of it. But thank you so much for that, Dell. Also, I want to let Facebook know, those who's watching, December the 17th, I have a Christmas comedy show coming up at the Masonic Temple, the Integrity Lounge. The tickets is $10. It's only $10. Come on, show your support. We've been having some great shows. I've been getting comedians coming from other towns to come and just bring some laughter into our city because I know, we all going through it and sometimes we could just use another, a little laugh. The comedy show is now once a month. I was doing it twice a month, but I said, let me break it down to, once a month. Plus, it's getting cold. I don't like to be out in the cold either. But December the 17th is going down at the Integrity Lounge. The Shade Room of Comedy will be going on. Also, you guys can follow me on Shady Entertainment. Instagram, Miss No Shade But Shade, and you all know me on Tawana L. Warner. Also, tonight's episode, I Am My Sister, A Mother's Testimony, not up in here, Miss Delwana. She's going to give you her information one more time before we close the show, how any parents, anybody needs to reach out to her, wants to be a part of her organization, needs to come to one of her events. Here's her info.
So on Facebook, you can follow me at Delwana L. Miller. Instagram is I Am My Sister _ or email me at delwana@gmail.com.
All right. So on that note, thank you all for tuning in to Shady Talk Wednesday. Good night.
Good night. Peace, guys. Thank you.